Yo, 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 yo. What is up, everybody? It's your boy Leroy. Got my guy Zach here with me, and welcome back to another episode of Kicking with the Crew. Hoping everybody's having a great weekend out there, man. Zach, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm good, man. Been a long minute. Had to take last week off, but I'm good.
Oh, you got to take last week off?
Yeah, I had to work last weekend. Like Saturday night is my Sunday, so working third. I had to work last weekend for to get Thanksgiving off.
Oh yeah. I forgot. I remember you saying that. There we go. Well, good. Appreciate everybody who's coming in. Sorry for the late start, fellas. Everybody out there, definitely not used to it. Yeah, not sure where Matt is right now, trying to get a hold of him. But my old ass passed out. So sorry everybody. Had to take that old man nap. Fell asleep like right before the show started. Didn't even realize how exhausted I was. But it's been a long weekend for me. So sorry everybody out there. But welcome back in, man. Let me go ahead and jump into some of these scores here last week, and then obviously we'll get to what's coming up for us, the big show tomorrow, and get that discuss the game. So yeah, to start off, to kick off the week last week, the Jets lost to the Patriots, giving the Patriots the number one seed, 27-14. Then the Commanders lost to the Dolphins. The Packers beat the Giants. The Houston Texans beat the Titans. Um, the Panthers beat the Falcons 30-27. The Bears beat the Vikings 19-17. The Jaguars blew out the Chargers 35-6. The Bills beat the Buccaneers 44-32. The Steelers beat the Bengals 34-12. The 49ers beat the Cardinals 41-22. The Rams beat the Seahawks 21-19. The Broncos beat the Chiefs 22-19. The Ravens beat the Browns 23-16. The Eagles beat the Lions 16-9. The Cowboys beat the Raiders 33-16. And then Thursday night football kicked off yesterday, and the Texans beat the Bills 23-19, which puts them two games out behind us. Jacksonville Jaguars a game just behind us. What up, Dave? Appreciate you coming in. And so there we have it, man. And then we were on a bye week, got to rest up and got some guys back getting healthy and everything. And we are going to face the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. Huge game, huge implications, and pretty much the Chiefs' season will be on the line.
Facts. I don't think it's the biggest game for the Colts as it is Kansas City, in my opinion. Like, I know it's an AFC opponent, and it's important. All AFC games are important just because playoff implications.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely feel like all the pressure is on Kansas City and absolutely no pressure is on Indy.
Yeah, I had also mentioned that the Patriots were the number one seed, and they only had the one seed until I think an hour late or a couple hours later, and the Denver Broncos ended up beating the Chiefs. So the Broncos are currently the one seed. So my apologies, misspeaking there. But yeah, so all we got to do is win tomorrow, and then we would be back. We would be taking back the number one seed. Um, but as for me, man, I personally think it's the biggest game of the year just because this is another game that everybody's doubting, counting us out of, and saying that we're not going to win. So I think it's the biggest game of the year. I wouldn't say it's the most important. I'll leave that for another week just because of little headline names that I put down there. But I do think it's the biggest of the year because I just think that there's a lot on the line. So for obviously for Chiefs reasons, they have to win this game. Otherwise, they'll be 5-6. Deeper down the what is it, third in their division is where they would sit if that happened. Um, and then they would also be behind the Chargers and the Broncos, being in that third place. They would also basically be out of the playoffs, and then they would have to win 6 straight to close the season. As for us, we are what is it? 2 games over the Jaguars, sitting at 8-2, while they are 6-4, and then 2 games over the Houston Texans, who are 6-5. So they've actually made a turn for themselves. So they're right on the Jags' heels, and then just leaving us 2 games ahead of them. So I think as far as games wise, we don't want to drop any personally to give any chances back to our division. And then obviously with the playoff implications. And I think a lot of teams shouldn't want to see Houston in the first place just because that defense.
That might be the best defense in the NFL, bro. Like what I witnessed on Thursday night was that their offense can't score worth shit. Like Davis Mills is terrible. That offensive line is terrible in Houston. But that defense, dare I say, might be the best defense in the NFL.
Hey, like I said, I've said it many times on this podcast. I said it from the start of the season. I said player for player, I don't think there is a defense in the league that is better than Houston Texans. So, yeah, I think anybody that they were to face in the playoffs would definitely have to come and have everything ready for them because that defense is going to give them as many chances they possibly need. And most of their losses haven't even been that bad. So that's the crazy part, man. So definitely don't want to give them any more chances. So that's why I say it's the biggest game of the year. I think it's just, if we could potentially beat Kansas City, we knocked the monster out. Everybody's scared of Kansas City. Everybody saying you don't want to see them in the playoffs, yada, 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 whatever the case may be. But I just think it would be huge for us to put them out of the playoffs.
I would love that. For Patrick Mahomes to still be winless versus the Colts would be a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
Yeah, most definitely. Yo, what up, Tress? Appreciate you coming in. What up, Dave? He says a big game to keep the division buffer. So basically, keep that. It can put a 3-game lead back on the division. And then okay, yeah, we might as well just get into the tail of it. We had a bye week, so no point to go back in over Atlanta. But basically, man, Kansas City 5-5. This really hasn't been the team that everybody thought. A lot of people said this team has gotten better. Their roster was better than it was last year when they went 15-1 at one point in time until they were pretty much checked out last year. Patrick Mahomes has been playing okay, but he hasn't really been, his usual self. Had some uncharacteristic turnovers, either his fault or his team's fault. The defense hasn't been as great as they were the last couple of years. And they just got Rashee Rice back last couple of weeks, who's been pretty much their guy to go to. And they've been all right, man. So anything you want to get into on KC?
Honestly, I think their window is closing, as corny as that sounds, even though you have Patrick Mahomes. And as long as you have Pat Mahomes, your window, a quick 2-year rebuild, and your window reopens. But I just think their defense is kind of aged out, and they don't really have any weapons. Because if you take Rice away, I don't think Kelsey can separate like he used to. They don't run the ball, and that hurts Kansas City. That hurts Kansas City a lot. The fact that they just neglect the run game entirely. But Kansas City's a sneaky team. This is a game that I don't want the Colts to take for granted because this is the type of game you're already going into a crazy environment. Arrowhead is, in my opinion, at least the past 7 years or however long Mahomes has been that dude, has been one of, if not the best home field advantage regular season and playoff time. So can't take that for granted.
Yeah, I definitely think it's like the biggest implication. That's why I said the biggest game of the year. But to your point, I think them not being able to run the ball is really killing them. Like I said back at the trade deadline, I think they should have gave up that 3rd round pick for Breece Hall. I think it really could have helped a lot of their issues. And then to your point, I wouldn't necessarily say they don't have any, like big time game changers or anything like that. But I think they have a good roster. I don't think they have an elite roster anymore. Like, you don't look at one side of the ball. Like, you look at back to the 2018, 2019, 2020 years, they were elite on offense. Yeah. And you look at the 2021, 2023, 2024, they were elite on defense. I think now, like you said about them aging out, I just think they don't have enough difference makers anymore. Travis Kelce isn't the same that he used to be. Who is it? Chris Jones isn't the same that he used to be. Trent McDuffie, I think he's really good, but it's like it's not enough if you don't have other elite players around you making elite plays all the time. And then you got guys like Leo Chenal, George Karlaftis, some of their defensive ends, Adafe Owe, I believe that's their defensive end if I got that right.
Yeah.
But they're just not elite game changers at this point, or at least right now they're not playing like it. And obviously, Chris Jones is just aging as it is, and so when you don't have those guys that are making the changes on offense or defense or offense, it's really something that's been a huge change for him. And Xavier Worthy is a good player, but he hasn't turned into Tyreek Hill like they thought he could. And then obviously you got Hollywood Brown over there. And like you said, Rashid Rice, who's just coming back, and I never thought he was like a game breaker anyway. Just thought he was a really good receiver. So it's like you give Mahomes all those weapons, and you would think that they could do their thing, but then at the same time, their offensive line isn't playing good. So if you don't have it in the trenches, you also don't have elite difference makers everywhere. That's what the Kansas City Chiefs have come down to. And then also, I mean, there's been a lot of one score games that they won last year that they're
Yeah.
not winning this year, which is a huge problem because it's like if you got too many one score games, the ball can bounce in any way. And you see how it goes 2 years in a row.
So my question is do you think NFL teams have figured out Kansas City? Do you think that because Kansas City has refuses to run the ball so much, and you know you're going to get 70 different ways to throw the rock and one pretty pass or one cool trick play, because that's Andy Reid's type of thing, that teams are like, all right, we're just going to make them think and dunk down the field. And because Kelsey can't do it no more, at least not laterally, maybe vertically still, but at least not laterally, good luck.
Yeah,
I feel like that's part of the issue. Like, teams are playing Kansas City, and if you are as athletic and or have better talent than them, you're going to have a chance to beat Kansas City, more so this year than in years past.
yeah. I don't know if I would necessarily say that it's that people are stopping it. I think it's more so like a lot of it, like Andy Reid was talking about it on where I can't remember, it was a radio show or whatever. But a lot of their runs are turning into passes, and when you have to have RPO being your primary, function of how you're calling things, a lot of the times of how you're dictating your run or pass, we kind of seen that last year with Anthony Richardson, where there's a lot of RPO, and it's like they're going to key in on that. And obviously, it made it a huge difference for us when your quarterback can also be majorly effective in that running game. But when you have to run it so much, and then your offensive line isn't churning out those blocks, they're good in short yardage, but outside of that, they're not very good. And so if you don't have an effective run game, it's like, what are people going to back off for? The play action game isn't working the way it should. Nobody's going to fall for your run game. And so it kind of puts everything back on the shoulders of Patrick Mahomes. And again, he doesn't have the Tyreek Hill to take a slant 80 or can throw it deep. He doesn't have the Travis Kelce that was turning 10-yard comebacks into 20-yard gains and stuff like that on a regular basis, that is. I mean, he could still do it. Travis Kelce is Travis Kelce. So it's not like he's completely fallen off, but it's just not the same as it's been the past, 6 years, that was 6 to 8 years that we've been seeing from this Kansas City team. So I just think that I don't think that NFL teams have caught up. I just think Kansas City has come back down to earth. That's all I think it is. I like, and like you said, I think you said their window had closed, and I don't think it's closed. I just think it needs a reset. I think it's time to start rebuilding, redrafting, to start that roster over, start getting some players that you need that are top tier. So the fact that I think they're like a top 12 pick right now would be kind of crazy for them because they haven't drafted that high in forever. So
since
I don't. Okay, yeah. So I don't think it's dead. I just think it's time for them to start resetting and kind of redoing how they're going to look, whether they're going to try and go back to being elite offensively, elite defensively, however they want to do that. But they definitely need to get back to having a side of the ball that's elite, and probably want to do that with offense just because you have Patrick Mahomes. Because I just don't think that, like, the way that defenses are playing and taking away the deep ball, you don't really want to just say, yeah, we can get weapons and put them around him, because we've seen him in 2 Super Bowls where if your offensive line gets hurt or you don't have the weapons, he's getting slaughtered. So
Yeah.
clearly don't got enough help there. But I think it's time for them to kind of redo how they're thinking and try.
I agree. Retool it. Take 2 years as like 2-year gap years. Build free agency, restructure contracts, build through draft, and then reopen that window. I mean, when you have as I say, the most premium quarterback of the 2020s, you can afford to do that. So good on them. Let's hope they lose.
Yeah, no doubt. And that was the biggest thing for me last week when we were discussing. I think what was it? I said that I didn't want us to have to face Kansas City and then be coming off a loss.
Right.
So definitely would hope that we can, kind of take advantage of them just not being the same team. There's a lot of things that indicate the way that we're playing versus the way that they should be playing that says we should win. So I would hope that would be the way, but definitely going to be a lot tougher now that they got their backs against the wall. But we'll see how that kind of pans out for it. Just says they sacked Josh Allen 8 times. Joshua Merchant, appreciate you guys all coming in here. Says that. Why is this not opening up? This thing is tripping on me. Love the show, you guys. Zach, you have lost some weight. You looking nice, bro.
Bro, I've lost 144 pounds in a year. I was 380, and I'm now 244. The only fat I have left on my body is my stomach, and I'm at like 13% body fat. So it's been a cool weight loss journey. I probably should stop drinking zero free caffeine, but I don't smoke, I don't drink, and caffeine's my only vice. So if I could kick that habit, I don't really talk about it a whole lot because I don't really like the attention, but I appreciate the kind words, Josh. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Me and Zach have both got on that diet. Tyrell Hubbard says, Colts always beat Patrick Mahomes. Appreciate you coming in. I do believe that's a new commenter. What up, Sean? Appreciate you. What up, Chris? Appreciate all you guys,
last week's show. Tyrod.
Oh, yeah. I did see that name. That's my fault.
A couple weeks.
Yeah, Trev has some stuff going on, and Matt, I'm not really sure. Trying to figure out where he's at. I'm guessing he probably had an old man nap just like me and probably passed out and didn't even realize it. He'll probably wake up in like a few minutes or so here. Dave Stewart says we need to cover their tight ends. Mooney and Sauce can handle the outside, but we can't let the tight ends kill us. These corners are good, but we outnumber them with Pitts, AP, Downs, and Warren.
I just don't like our linebackers versus their tight ends because Zaire Franklin's an absolute liability in coverage, and Pratt doesn't cover anybody. So
yeah, I'm not terribly worried about it because I just think that as long as we can keep pressure on Mahomes, it's going to be a tough outing. The way that we can play and the way Lou has always played Patrick Mahomes, and he has had far less talented defenses.
True.
Nathan says, with Carlisle probably back next week, we will take some load off of Franklin and Pratt probably. Nathan said, I'm going to football state finals Friday and Saturday next week.
Who you got, Nathan, in the state finals? You a small school kid, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A? I went to a big 5 and 6A school when I played here in Indiana, so I have big school bias, but interested to see who you're rooting for.
Timothy Joe Beasley, appreciate you coming in. I believe that's a new name. Colts, he says Colts win 27-24. Chester says they will say that KC ain't never lost 3 in a row. Well, ain't never beat us in the regular season. So it's definitely going both ways. As far as the narrative that people can put out there, Nathan says 35-21. He says Andreen 2A powerhouse and
2A powerhouse in Maryville, a 5A. Well, Maryville this is the first time they've gone to state in 50 plus years. just because they're not parochial, go Maryville, and then Adrian. Aren't they in Fort Wayne? You're probably up near the Fort Wayne area. They're a parochial school, but they turn out a lot of Division One talent. Notre Dame had a linebacker, that Bowen kid, that Drewskin Bowen. I don't know his name. He was like the number one linebacker in the nation that committed to Notre Dame. He was a stud, man. So Adrian, they're consistently dogs, So if you get to a state final, I never went to a state final. I played in a ton of regionals and semi-states, always one game short. I always lost this past weekend and never got to spend Thanksgiving in Indy. But hey, it's an accomplishment to get this far. So hats off to those kids and go win state.
Oh yeah. Good luck to you guys out there. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into that conversation that you guys were talking about, man. I just think that obviously their tight ends can play, and I think any of them can play. So I don't think it's more so about individual matchups with this team. I don't think it'll be something that we want to get into kind of like a man-to-man type battle. Even though they don't have game records or anything like that, but I think the problem is you don't want to play man to man and then just let Patrick Mahomes start running for first downs and be running all over the field. So I think it'll still be up to Lou Anarumo. And like I said, I think he has controlled him the best of pretty much anybody in the league in any type of matchups and stuff that they've had, at least as far as him with the Bengals going against Kansas City. And they had better defenses there. So I think on the inside, I think we still have Kenny Moore availability to be able to lock up some of those guys on the inside. And then I think Pratt or whoever, Nick Cross, any of these guys are going to be, coming down and moving around on the inside of the boxes and stuff like that. I think that'll be key for us. And I think it's also just key to not get lost in their man-to-man game. A lot of the stuff that Casey likes to do, put people in motion, run some of those jet sweeps, stuff like that they like to do. I think it'll be key as far as those to make sure we're catching those when we're in zone and not getting stuck playing man-to-man with those and getting lost with some of the stuff that they like to do behind the line of scrimmage. I think that's another big thing for us is to win up front. It's great that we're getting Tyquan Lewis back for this game. I think that'll be really good for us. And then we got Latu, obviously. I think we got to put Patrick Mahomes in hell all day. I've probably tweeted it out like 3 times this week. I really want to see us hold Patrick Mahomes to about 150 yards passing. Like the way we should be able to take away his receivers, and then like you guys said, it's just tight ends at that point. We know he likes to hold on to the ball, so I just don't see any reason that we shouldn't be able to just pretty much lock up anything that they want to do. Like I truly would think we could probably hold them to about under 200 yards of offense and like 3-4 sacks and a pick or two.
I mean, if there's one game I want Lou Anarumo to be in his bag, it is this game. Like, I want him to, just put Mahomes through hell, show man covers before snap, and then hit him with a match. Hit him with some zone. Just get wild. I think this will be a key game for Nick Cross because I feel like Nick Cross is going to get the assignment of, hey, big dog, you got Kelsey. Because, he's going to want to keep Bynum free to kind of help Mooney and Sauce, even though I believe that's why you brought those dudes in here. You just say, hey, we're manning you up all game. Like, my guys are better than anything Casey has on the outside. So it's big bang pay, take a little bank, and you guys, you get no help. I'm using the other 8 guys to just blitz, play match coverage, do whatever. I mean, that's what I would do. But I just want to see how creative and how wild Lou Anarumo gets defensively because there's no reason the Colts shouldn't win this game. Like, absolutely no reason. Based on if you look on roster wise and how the Colts are playing before the bye week, I don't see how in the world the Colts could truly lose this game.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I don't think he thinks so either. I think like I said before with the defensive ends that we're going to be matched up with, I don't really see a defensive end that's going to give us too much trouble on offense for our tackle. So I think that favors us. Then obviously KC is not really going to be able to run the ball well. They don't really run the ball, and
They don't
then
run the ball.
even when they do, it'll work in short yardage, but it's not going to help them from 20 to 20. So that works in our favor as well. The receivers to match up with us, I truly just, I mean, I just don't see there's any way in hell that Rasheed Rice is supposed to kill Charvarius Ward or Charles Garner. So don't see how that's supposed to work out well for him. And then even when you put it into the tight ends, so unless their tight ends are supposed to catch for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns between Kelsey and
Who do they have besides Kelsey?
they got Kelsey and they got I'm forgetting the goddamn dude's name right now.
Is it Fortson still? That dude from like Fort Valley State? Or is it that kid from Duke? It's that white kid from Duke.
I can't remember the dude's name right now. I don't know why I'm blanking. Jody Forson, I think that's one of the guys. But I just don't see that there's a way that they're supposed to be able to stop us now. Obviously, if we have a terrible game on offense, it's Noah Gray. I don't know why I was.
Yeah, the white kid from Duke.
Yeah, Noah Gray and then Robert Tunyon. And so I just don't really see that they're supposed to be able to hang with us in that regard. And then Isaiah Pacheco is out, and Xavier Worthy and their left guard is questionable. So I just don't really see, and they got Rashard Smith. Rashard Smith's a solid player, but I just don't think that there's ways that they should be able to match up with us in ways that can really stop us or really keep up with us, let alone stopping them. And I think their defense is still good. Obviously, you can't just discount Spagnuolo and those guys, but I just think that the way that this matchup looks, like I think there should be another Colts, do your thing, don't turn over the ball, play efficient, and don't think there's a way that they should be able to stop us.
Completely agree.
Nathan said, "Yeah, you talking about his boy Drake Bowen?
That dude's a monster. He's going to be a nice draft pick either this year or next year. Like, I don't go up north to Chicagoland area where Maryville's at, but because I don't believe this is my Southern Indiana bias. I don't believe the north half of the state plays good football. But when you play up north in northern Indiana and your name gets brought up down here in the southern half of the state, you're a player, and he's been that kid's as good as advertised.
For sure. Richardson Rhodes 4701 says Tommy time. Talking about Adetomiwa out of Barre. I definitely think this should be a huge game for him on that interior pressure.
Absolutely.
Tim says, I think if the Colts don't turn the ball over, they win all day. It's been a recipe
Completely
for
agree.
us all year. Dave says, hopefully we keep Mahomes in the pocket under pressure like Houston played Allen. Then his legs don't hurt us. Truly agree. Give JT the ball 25 times and let JT run wild. That should be a recipe every week.
Every week, yeah.
He also said no Gray. Timothy said Worthy. Just says,
No.
do y'all think we pay Alec Pierce before he hits free agency? I think we do. I don't think we let it get to free agency. I think there should be something in a few weeks here or something like that.
I think the first one that's going to get paid is Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones. And then it wouldn't shock me to see the Colts tag Pierce and then work out a deal after he's been franchise tagged.
Yes. Yeah, I guess you could see. Yeah, but I don't know if I would risk that tag. Do you want to pay him top 5?
Well, if you reach a deal and he doesn't play on the tag, then he's
but I mean, even
he's getting paid top 5, but he's not getting paid top 5.
That's what I'm saying. But even deciding to put the tag on him,
I mean, it's only a tag. The way I see it is, as long as you get a deal done before he steps before, because yeah, DeMarco, I signed you for $100 million, but oh hey, guess what, my guy? We worked out a long-term contract where I'm only paying you $33 million. Like my AAV per year, it went from top 5 money to now you're top 20 money, or now you're 25 money. So I look at the tag like a tool. Unless you're a quarterback and you have leverage to deny the tag, most guys aren't going to. And if they do, then all right, I got no problem letting you walk, because receivers are the new running back. There's absolutely no point in paying them.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I just don't think it'll come to that personally. But I think if you have to, you gotta do what you gotta do. I just think, you draft a guy. He never got the chances that he should have got. Otherwise, he'd probably be up there with like the top 5 receivers as far as getting his pay wise, or like at least what T. Higgins got, because of the fact that he stayed healthy. He just hasn't had a quarterback consistently to give him the ball and play and use him the way he should be used. So I personally don't think there's any point to even let it get that far, but I definitely agree with Zach.
My question is, would you feel comfortable paying Pierce T. Higgins money? Because I would argue he's been far more productive than T. Higgins has.
It's tough to say, just because obviously the league, like, people are going to start looking at him, and somebody in free agency would want to overpay.
Yeah.
I would hope that he would want to, take a little hometown discount and not let that get up there, because I just truly think, like, I don't understand why players do it so many times. Like, you take too much money, you start depleting your roster, and then next thing you know, it's like, hey, you got paid, but now we aren't as good somewhere because you took this. So, like, I think somebody would pay him it.
Oh, I feel like
I don't think Ballard will, nor do I think he should, just because we would be the one team in the league that has 2 $20 million corners and 2 $20 million receivers. So I don't think that's a recipe for success, especially with all the people we got to pay in the trenches.
If Pierce hits free agency, I look at the 2 teams immediately who are going to sign him: A, the New York Jets, and B, the Houston Texans. Because the Houston Texans have absolutely no deep threat besides Nico Collins, and if you can't give him the ball, they're pretty one-dimensional passing wise. They have weapons, but they don't really throw the deep to anybody but Nico.
I don't think the Texans will, because they got to pay CJ soon.
Do they though? I feel like.
Yeah, I don't
know.
I don't think they would, because his contract's going to be coming up, so they got to start planning for that. And,
Dave said Buffalo. That's a good fit too.
I think Buffalo, KC, and Tennessee would all be the teams that would try and throw the bag at AP. Personally,
I think AP will stay, just because he seems like a Colt type of player. I don't, outside of Jonathan Taylor, who's put up crazy leading production, you had to give a premium contract to. I don't feel like he's going to be that type of player. You could argue that the only other Colts player who's put up leading production and deserves a huge, massive contract since Ballard has been GM is Quentin Nelson and JT. And beyond that, we've not even paid Buckner top 10 money, except when we first traded for him. And then after that, he's always taken top 20 defensive tackle money. And usually he's usually like 18th or 19th on the list. So I kind of feel like that'll be more of the same with the Colts.
And that's my thing with Pierce. That's why I'm like, I would hope that he would think like, I don't need to go try and bank the bank. Just give me what I'm worth and let's go run it back, would be my thought, or what I think that he would think. So, I mean, you never truly know until it's that time for a guy to get paid. But then again, I'm also the person that always said I love to see players get paid. So if he decided to walk and go get his biggest bag, I would hope it'd be worth it for him. So
to me, if you pay Pierce, you let Downs walk. And in today's NFL, I believe it's harder to find a guy like Downs than it is a guy like Pierce. And while Pierce has improved his route running, and while Pierce has always been reliable and is a guy who's 50-50, I feel like there's way more 6'3", 6'2" receivers than there are dudes who can get open in the slot.
I
That's just
don't
that's
know.
that's just my opinion. I
I
would like
disagree with that just because of the fact that Tyler Warren has already taken up a lot of stuff that Downs would be doing.
so then
So I just
you,
think that like I do get what you're saying. Like it's very true to find that elite type of slot receiver that can get open all the time. Like there was plenty of plays as Tressa here talking about the game against the Falcons where Downs was open a couple times on crossers and we just haven't hit him.
yeah.
And I think that like it's tough to find that player versus a deep threat. The problem is with our pieces in our offense and the way we're using Tyler Warren right now, it's almost like where's Downs at, you know? And so this is the why I specifically put this game right here that we're about to play, which the Kansas City Chiefs play a lot of man to man. This is Tyler Warren and Downs type of game.
Yeah.
So I definitely get what you're saying. I just think that in our offense, the way that we're playing and using Pittman, Pierce, and Warren, Downs kind of becomes the odd man out.
And this is me, I went from not paying Alec Pierce to I'm on paying the Alec Pierce bandwagon. So like to me, like I feel like you're right. Pierce long term, I believe is more valuable to the Colts' success than a dude like Downs. I feel like if you let Downs walk in free agency, he's essentially already been replaced with a guy like Warren.
Yeah.
And then you can afford to go out and get a project like A.D. Mitchell was, who you don't have to spend a premium pick on, who you can use and develop and still have solid depth with Gold and Doolin until he's ready, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree there. I would hate to see Downs go, but that's just kind of the way I see with the way that we've been using offense and stuff like that. I don't really feel like there's been a single game that we've game planned for Josh Downs. Really don't. Chet says, I just hope it's not a cardiac Colt game like the game in Berlin. I don't think it will be. I think the game in Berlin just came down to, going overseas. We just made a big trade. We had injuries. The offensive line has been getting their butts kicked by some great defensive lines. I think we just kind of wore ragged there. I think it was kind of like a lot of people were saying that the Colts peak because we started having turnovers and stuff like that. I just think that we were just on such a roll for 8 straight weeks that it was bound to come to an end at some point. And that's why I do like where we had our bye at. That way now, things slow down a little bit. We can get back on track, get back to some fundamentals and fix things. So I just kind of think, like I said, those last 2 weeks versus Pittsburgh and Atlanta, I think those defensive ends gave us bad matchups. And then also the defenses gave us bad matchups. So I just think that we'll get back to what we normally do here coming back up.
Yeah, definitely agree. Pittsburgh was, I believe, even a worse game than Atlanta. The reason why I contribute Atlanta being so bad is I think Indiana to Germany is like a 15-hour flight. I've never flown before because I don't like travel. But I can't imagine if you fly that far at one time, your body adjusts very well.
Yep.
And being so that they flew over there Thursday, had to practice Friday, didn't really do anything Saturday, and then played a game Sunday. Like, I don't know if you're necessarily giving yourself enough time to truly adjust and get ready for all of that. So, like, I contribute, like you said, that travel week and those Europe games those suck. I mean, I understand I understand the NFL wants to expand the game, but at the same time, like, bro, do preseason games. Like, I feel like regular season games, players probably don't want it. Like, unless there's an incentive in a contract.
I think they're all for growing the game, but you kind of just don't really think about actually being over there and playing.
If I'm a player, I put it in my contract that if I have to play an overseas game, I want like an extra $1 million, something ridiculous. So like NFL PA or the NFL, whatever gets popular, that they stop doing it. Like one game, because I feel it's been like 6 straight weeks of football at 9:30 in the morning. Do we have a 9:30 football game tomorrow?
I think no. The overseas games are done with. We did have. I want to say it was like 6 straight weeks, a week off, then 2 more weeks. We had the one in Germany, and then we just had that last one That
In
they played. That
Spain.
was it.
Yeah.
That was the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I was saying it from the jump all year. I don't like the overseas games just because they're so tricky. Just like Zach said, with all the travel in a different country, different time zone, all this stuff changes for you. Routine is like we're creatures of habit, especially for pro football players or any kind of pro athlete. I was worried about the game just looking ugly because if you go look at any of the teams that had to play overseas, it was like this team did not look like who they've looked like all season. So I was already worried about it from the start of the season. I just wanted to make it through that game, come out with a win. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's a true worry for me. I just didn't want it to linger and we end up taking a loss. So I'm glad we were able to pull it out.
Same here. Same here.
Yeah. So that's all I think about the overseas game. Nathan also said that boy Miles from Knox is a stud running back. Feel bad he lost last night.
I mean, they didn't play nobody, but what the kid did, regardless, as a team of not playing anybody, the teams he did play, he took care of business. To break a record that is, held by an NFL Hall of Famer in Derrick Henry, the national rushing record, to break that record, that's no joke. I mean, absolutely not. So hats off to that kid. I think he received an offer from Ball State. That's his biggest offer, but either way, what he accomplished is no joke. Just as soon as they played any real talent, I'm not surprised that they lost. But hats off to Miles because that's hard. I don't know if that record will be broken for a very long time, especially in the state of Indiana. His rushing record won't get touched, in my opinion. Not unless there's another team that just says we're running the ball every play, essentially what Knox did.
Yeah. Timothy says if the Colts don't pay Alex sooner, he'll get expensive later on. We need him. Most definitely.
I agree.
Just says, do y'all think Lou Anarumo will stay here? He's already getting offers. I absolutely hate this, man. I hate the fact that somebody said it. It was can't remember the page, but somebody was like trying to say that Lou Anarumo should go to the New York Giants, and I thought that was crazy to me. I'm just like, no, why would he want to go up there, be in dysfunctional New York? But he did coach there for a while. He's got some relations. I'm hoping we can at least keep him for another year, personally.
I do too. I think just from what I've seen two, the Giants being one, and then possibly Miami being the other one, because those are the two organizations he coached at. He's been a hell of a grab. So I would love to see him play and stay another year, and be here a while. But I also say, hey, if he's getting offers for what he's done, nothing wrong with go checking him out. Absolutely nothing wrong. And do I trust Ballard to pick a defensive coordinator? No, but I also trust Carly and Shane to go make us, if winning is the standard, I trust Carly's intuition to say, hey, he's a guy. If Lou's not here, the next guy behind him, that's the guy I want on my defense. The standard's here. But I also feel like the Colts have been over backwards for Lou. Go out and got a guy like Sauce, pay big money for Bynum, pay big money for Mooney. Outside of investing in the defensive line, I think they've kind of made a commitment to Lou that I believe he's going to have a hard reason to leave. And no, they can't. Teams can't reach out in the middle of the season because it's tampering. It's all speculation at this point. What reporters say and what they like. Yeah.
No, I think
it's tampering.
No, I can't. I think the team can. I want to say, but I think it has to be like the last No, I think they said I think you can request an interview with the coach or whatever, but the interviews have to be performed. I think it's after week 18 or something like that, or I think it's like during the bye week in the playoffs before the Super Bowl or something like that.
I believe it, yeah.
Yeah, I think they put stipulations on it, so I forgot exactly what it is. I'd have to check.
He brought some of his players. The only player, Teresa, that I think Lou brought here or had was
Xavier Howard.
Xavier Howard. And then when he retired, we had that linebacker who we cut, and he went to Tennessee. And then they signed Bocce, yeah, and then they signed Pratt. So Pratt's the only guy that he's had previous working experience with because Mike Hilton's hurt. Is he even still on the Colts? Is Mike Hilton still a Colt?
He is. He's on IR. I believe he could get activated next week. I believe.
Fair enough. Fair
So
enough.
we could even get more players back.
I mean, yeah, if when he plays, he's a solid backup to Kenny. I mean, he's a situational pass rusher from the slot, so I'm not mad at that. That's what he does best. So
Yeah,
more power to him.
We'll see. Hopefully, we can keep him. Dave says, unfortunately, agents write guys who would work with teams for reasonable contracts. Yeah, I wouldn't say recommend it. It's kind of getting your own money. It's like, would you stay for a team for 3 year, 40 million, or are you gonna go try and go with another team that'll pay you for 3 years, 60 million? It's like I can't be mad at a guy for going to try and get every penny that he can. So
I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah, exactly. I think it goes both ways. It's like some people said that Daniel Jones can kind of dictate what he's going to do as far as Colts money wise. I think that would be absolutely retarded for Daniel Jones to try and sit there and armbar the Colts to get a big contract when it's like you need a lot of talent around you. So don't sit there and hamstring the franchise. I think there's some situations where you just got to know.
That's one deal I'm surprised the Colts didn't get done during the bye week. I fully expected us to have this whole week and there'd be like breaking news. The Colts get a deal done with Daniel Jones, 3 years, $100 million total, $52.5 million AVE or whatever it is, and then it's really only $33 million with incentives. Like the same contract Baker Mayfield got with the Bucs, I fully expected that contract for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised too, but I also, again, I think that like the Colts wanting to see more is totally fair. So yeah. I wouldn't say I was totally surprised by it. Timothy says, I hope they keep most of the team together. Me as well. Jacob's chiming back in on the game overseas and says, yeah, but both teams have to do it. It's not like the Colts only had to go and play a German team, or the Colts had to play a German team. Yeah, no doubt at all. And I think it's definitely works for both ways. But like I said, I just think that anytime they go overseas, one team always looks completely the opposite of what they normally do. And the crazy part is both Atlanta and the Colts both look like they came ready to play. So I don't think there was anything from it.
Penix tore his ACL versus the Colts, man.
No, not versus the Colts.
I thought he tore it versus
the Panthers. Versus the Panthers this past week. Yeah. We got to that one. We got to that one as well. All right, man. So let's go ahead and jump into it offensively for the Colts, man. Like we said, we talked about the turnovers. Some of the issues that we had, and some of the offensive line issues not playing as well. But we get to go on the bye week, get to get everybody well rested and stuff like that. I think that we haven't been as efficient there, but we still put up, I believe it was like 245 yards or so, or 240 something yards on that Atlanta Falcons defense, which was the number one pass defense in the league. I think they were averaging giving up like 170 yards per game or something like that through the air. Jonathan Taylor did his thing, going for 270 total. What are you looking forward to seeing from this Colts offense versus the Chiefs defense tomorrow?
More solid run or more solid pass protection from our tackles. Last 2 weeks, the offensive line been a little leaky. Like Braden Smith's been a liability, and Gonsalves is being slow out of his stance. So, shoring up that right side, and then not necessarily the Colts offense, but Shane is a play caller. Like usually after a bye week, Shane gets either A, pretty creative, or B, opens the playbook up more and shows more of the offense, does something different. So I would like to see more of that. Shore up the offensive line, and then if you're going to be a run-first team, lean on it. Tell JT, hey, bro, meat and taters. This is where you earn your contract. We are closing out. Your season starts now. So we're giving you 25, 35 touches a game. It's downhill. It's counters. It's It's inside zone. It's we're committing to running and getting JT the ball. And if you do that, then I think the Colts will easily get into the playoffs at 12-5, 13-4, that type of stuff. Easily.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm completely with you. I think obviously people kind of caught up to some of our game plans where we were kind of throwing first and getting to our first read, and some people started trying to take that away from us a little bit, getting more pressure on Daniel Jones, sending more blitzes and pressure. He was also been pretty much, I want to say, the last two Colts quarterbacks through both seasons have been the most pressured quarterbacks through the first few weeks or whatever, or through the year. And people are continuing to do that. They're continuing trying to force Daniel Jones to beat them. So totally with you there. Got to make sure our run game comes heavy and ready to go. But like I said, I do think this is going to be a game where we're going to see a lot of man-to-man, some single coverage plays. And I want to see Daniel Jones be able to, keep being efficient, not having one hand on the ball, being able to make those short, quick, and easy throws. And again, JT running the ball. We're going to take some shots with Alec Pierce, so I hope we get a couple of those throughout this game. But I think, again, it's going to come down to efficiency, protecting the ball, and then just putting up points. Again, like every single time we put up 30 or close to it, we're pretty much unstoppable. So
absolutely agree.
I want us to be able to keep doing that.
I didn't know Matt Gonzalez's dad passed. Yeah, that's got to be a huge mental thing. Like that's heavy. Playing with that on your mind, I then understand why. He's been a little leaky. That's got to be heavy. So hopefully he's at a good mental place and able to get past that. But if not, I definitely understand.
Yeah, he didn't take any time away either. When it happened, the first practice that we had, that they had talked about it, he didn't miss. He was there at the practice, so he definitely has been there every single time. So that's definitely probably been weighing on him. But even before that, he was still kind of struggling a little bit. So just want to make sure he's doing good and continuing to develop. But I always thought that right side was going to be something that we were going to have to struggle with a little bit, or at least for center and right guard until they got it down. But they got it down ahead of schedule. I just think that the offensive line has come down to just those defensive end that we struggle with, man. Those athletic, fast, freaky type of pass rushers. I think those ones, the ones that can convert speed to power really well and switch it up, I think those ones are always going to give us trouble. Bernard Ryman has trouble with them. Braden Smith has trouble with them. I think that's just going to be something that's always a matchup problem for us.
So those are the worst defensive ends. Mm-hmm. I mean, I played tackle in high school, and fast twitch dudes are the absolute worst. Give me a slow putt or some dude who's crazy strong. But the moment you put any type of speed on the edge and they can widen you out and, like that wide nine technique, that's the worst thing in the world. I literally wish they would just, as an offensive lineman, I literally wish they would just make that an illegal formation and say, y'all, that's cheating.
Yeah, so and that's exactly those ones that we have had trouble with. Like I thought, when we went against TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, and then we go up against the first round picks that the Atlanta Falcons had. I just think those were a few matchups.
I mean,
the Falcons have actually had 18 sacks. 18 sacks through the last 3 weeks. So the Colts, the Patriots, and the Panthers. Yeah. And lost all 3 games. That's the first team in NFL history to lead the league in sacks over a 3-week span and lose every single game.
I hate to say it because I watched the Falcons last week. Bro, they have a Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis combination. Like, man, them dudes are nasty. That Pearson, whoever the heck else
Jalen Walker.
Yeah, them dudes are nasty, man. Like, that's quite the combination. Like young, fast, power to speed. They're 2 premium edge rushers. You can do a lot with that. So,
telling you. So yeah. So I just think those are some tough ones. And again, like I said, when we play Houston, that's also going to be a tough one for us.
I think Will Anderson. I don't know about Daniel Hunter. Is he still legit? Because Will Anderson. Oh, yeah. He looked like a monster on Thursday night, like that young J.J. Watt, Mario Williams vibes. I was all like, geez, this dude's nuts.
Anderson didn't get he didn't get going until I want to say like midway through the third,
Yeah.
but he got going too. I think they're going to be a problem regardless. So, and then they also got those guys that can cover on the back end, man zone, they can play it all. So, again, I think that's just going to be something that's going to be a matchup problem for us. And I think like every team has a weakness. The thing is about it is the NFL is matchups, week to week league. Luckily, you don't have to play a team that's a bad matchup for you 17 times out of 19. So that's just not a problem that you have to worry about. It's kind of just like I said it before, like so many people were surprised that the Houston Texans were able to do what they did to Josh Allen. And I'm surprised that so many people found it shocking. Like you can't play superhuman or Superman football versus the Houston Texans for one. And then for last year, they made Josh Allen have his worst game of his career last year versus the Houston Texans, and he still went on to win MVP. So people overreact to one game, one bad game, whatever it is, and whatnot, and they do this all the time. But I was not surprised at all. And again, Houston's going to be a problem for a lot of people. So
I didn't realize how good Houston was until I actually watched them for the first time
that defense
this year.
is for real.
And that defense is legit. And see, Dave Stewart, I didn't know both Anderson and Hunter had 10 sacks. Anderson looked like he had like 15 in one game.
Yeah,
that dude's get off is nuts. So
they're the only duo in the league to have 8+ sacks.
Yeah.
Each.
Not surprised.
Sean says, I heard that Lou didn't want to be a head coach and he wanted to be in Indy before we hired him. I didn't hear anything about this. I know he was surprised when he got let go from Cincinnati, but yeah, I'm not totally sure on that one. I never heard that. I thought he's always wanted to be a head coach, so not sure on that one. Chester says football was boring last week. I watched film and learned Warren started out as a quarterback. Not that we should play him, but just a little info. Yeah, they talk about that all the time when they talk about how Warren could play snaps at running back, quarterback, lineman, tight end, receiver, everywhere else. Chester says that Davis Mills looked better than C.J. Stroud. That's been a big thing that people have been talking about. Houston's fans absolutely hate it. But I truly think that I don't think in either of their quarterbacks have looked good this season. But the way their offensive line has been playing, it'd be tough for any quarterback to truly be playing behind it. I did think for CJ, him learning a new offense, it was definitely something that was tough for him to kind of figure out and everything like that. So it looks like he, might be able to, figure something out. So we'll see. But I think that if their offense keep playing the way it has the last few weeks, I think they're still going to look the same. I just think that their defense can just take advantage of some teams.
I'm going to troll Houston fans here. Ohio State quarterbacks never work out. They never have. Are we surprised? I think defensive coordinators specifically got kind of tired of CJ Stroud and are putting their best stuff, when they play the Texans, just because his arrogance his rookie year. So I enjoy it. Will CJ Stroud bounce back? Absolutely. But right now, I enjoy watching the struggle as a Colts fan. So I will continue to enjoy watching the struggle. I hope he recovers from his concussion. So when the Colts play Houston, there's no excuse if Houston loses.
Yeah. I'm not going to get to that one just yet, just because I want to see where the implications are. But I do like where it's heading. So we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes. But again, like Zach said, I was truly for it. Texans fans was pissed off to start the season. Most of them checked out. We had a lot of them leave our group chat. They was mad that they were losing. They thought their season was over by week 3. A lot of them. So I'm all for it, man. And again, a lot of people want to try and talk about it or whatever, or talk about how other teams can catch up, whatever, this and that. And I personally don't care. As long as the coach just keep winning, I'm not worried about it. But I do like to see some downfalls of some other teams a little bit.
Oh, I love it. It's almost been the perfect year. I'm pissed because Houston's winning games. Tennessee's losing. That's awesome. I just need Houston to lose more games. Like, that's awesome. And Jacksonville is mediocrity. Like, it's purgatory. You just go 7-9, 9-7. You have this decent quarterback who you call generational, but somehow is mediocre. I mean, they're captain mid. So, like, this is what I expect from Jacksonville. Yeah, it's almost been the perfect year.
Jags fans been going through it a little bit as well. They've been fighting quite a bit. A lot of them are saying that like they're basically bickering back and forth on whether Trevor Lawrence is the guy or he's not.
No. Mark Brunell was way better.
Yes, there's many Jags fans that'll argue against you and tell you that Lawrence is the best in their history.
Lawrence is he's the best in their history. They've had 3 QBs that's been worth this shit. Brunell's been good. Byron Leftwich is a bust, and Trevor Lawrence is about as is a bust. I mean that's about it in my opinion. Like,
yeah, so they definitely been going through it quite a bit. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But again, as long as we keep winning and take care of our business, I'm not really too worried about too much. A lot of people like to try and count it because they want to see us down. They want to see the Colts lose. They want to see Daniel Jones lose. They don't think we're for real. So it is what it is. We'll see.
I agree.
We said Art Schistler. Our number 1 pick from Ohio State.
Yeah. Back in the day. Art Schlichter. That's back in the day. Like, that's like what? Like 79.
I think that was Baltimore days.
He started as a Baltimore Colt and then was a part of the move to Indy, I do believe. He got drafted right after Jeff Peagle or whoever the heck it was the starter for the Colts. The original 18 for the Colts.
Yeah, I don't really remember that guy. I was way before my time, but I do remember
mine too.
How trash that dude was.
Gambling addiction ruined his career.
Yeah. He said, "Yes, I'm old, Mike Patel."
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Wisdom comes with age.
Oh, Pagel. Chester says we need to keep winning right now. We're right there with the elite. If we start losing, that 8-2 could make us mediocre.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. People love to talk about our schedule. We play KC this week, Houston next week. Then I believe we play the Jaguars. Then
Not that Monday night game.
I think it's 49ers, Seattle, Jacksonville, and then Houston, I think if I got that right. Something like that. Zach just got a great fucking memory.
I'm actually 33, but like,
yeah, Zach just has a crazy memory.
I have some tism. No offense. Like, if anyone does, that's beautiful. Like, it's a beautiful blessing. It's a beautiful, but like the Colts are like the thing that I'm crazy about. So like, I remember any Colt stat, any Colt player, like where they're from, where they played. Like Colts trivia and Colts history, I view it like you can't be a Colts fan if you don't understand your franchise history. So any team that I cheer for, whether it's the Colts, whether it's the New Jersey Devils, whether it's my Pittsburgh Pirates, whether it's the Indiana Pacers, I truly feel like if you don't understand that team's history, are you really a fan? So a lot of that is I just spend useless hours of my day and free time when I'm not helping the wife or at work or kicking it with my kid. Yeah, I'm just in the catacombs of Colts, whatever. Anything I can find. It's useless trivia, but I just keep it up here in the cranium.
Yep. And Zach his memory is crazy. Mine's is crap. That's why I can't remember nothing. But like Zach said, everything for me, Colts. Like I'll look through their history. I try and remember the Baltimore players back to their days and everything like that. So I try and keep up with it, but my memory is just shot. I'll be like, I can't remember nothing, but all locked in with the Colts. Dave was saying Mina Kimes was all over the Colts having a great roster, being much better than KC. And yeah, that's kind of like the narrative with most of like ESPN or talk shows. As soon as somebody has a bad year or a player doesn't have a great showing, all of a sudden their roster stinks. Then the next year they add a player or two and they do really good, and then all of a sudden their roster is really great. I think me and Zach actually talked about this. I want to say it was way back in like maybe towards February, January, towards the end of the year or whatever. And there's literally a couple pieces that change the roster from good to great. And there's only really differences between rosters by those top tier players that you have on the roster. So, on most of the rosters, if you look at them between everybody between player 12 through 53 are going to be very similar in the NFL, and then you just have a few difference makers. Now, there are some scenarios where you do actually have some terrible rosters that need a lot of turnover just because of contracts or players leave and however it works out. But a lot of the times, there's very few players. But right now, the Colts,
I just call it
their top 10 players are just
you got to have all rosters are similar, but what makes it a roster elite versus elite being you win the Super Bowl, you're in the Super Bowl in the playoff rosters. You got to have 5 elite players like on a roster that are difference makers. And if your roster has 5 elite players, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, like good dudes that are legit dudes, then I believe you'll go far. It doesn't have to necessarily be quarterback, but that sure does help. So if you say quarterback's elite, then you got four other dudes, regardless of position. Those are your difference makers. And if your roster has 5 guys, then in my opinion, you're a Super Bowl contender.
Yep, absolutely, completely agree. Timothy is saying here, I feel the only weakness the Colts have going forward is linebacker position. What do you think they do to shore up that position to make us complete? You want to go, Zach?
Yeah, because I have hard feelings about this just because like I don't necessarily know if linebacker is the weakest position. Currently on the roster it is, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But going forward, I would say is it linebacker or is it defensive line depth? Because to me, I kind of feel like you're seeing the writing on the wall with Buckner. Dude's hurt again, and we really don't have anybody behind him who we all feel like, hey, this guy can play. Grove is getting older, but we really don't have anybody who, if Grove gets hurt, or we don't really have one guy who we can just sub in and feel like we really don't lose much. Outside of Latu, we don't really have anybody on defense who gets any type of pressure. D-line. So I look at it like, yeah, right now you got Zaire and Pratt, and they're both stopgaps, but Carlisle's can't stay healthy. And beyond that, I don't know who in the hell is in the linebacker room. So short term, yes, linebacker. Absolutely. I agree 100%, Timothy. Long term, it's defensive line. And that's where I want the Colts to spend all their draft capital this year is in that front 7. Like, I need 4 defensive tackles and spend linebacker money in free agency or draft linebackers and convert them to edge pieces and then go spend big bucks on tubbies up front to stop the run and get pass rush from your 3 tech. But that's where I'm at with it. To me, the bigger need and the bigger issue is depth because sadly, defensive line, I believe, is the single most important position on the defense. It all starts there.
Yeah. As for me, man, I don't know if I would really call it shoring up the linebacker spot or anything like that. I just think it's tough, man. Like, there's no team in the NFL that has a perfect roster, so that's where I really want to start. Like, I hate this debate or argument just for the fact that so many people will sit there and keep pointing out oh, we got this weakness, this weakness, this weakness. And it's like, it's truly like, where is the weakness and what will it cost you? And I think as for us, I don't think linebacker being a weakness is going to cost us anything. Like I truly don't. Like I just think that um I think it's something that, we get Carlisle's back. He's a better coverage backer than Zaire and Pratt. So I think it definitely will help us to get him back, especially in some of those coverage situations. But as far as our position, like Zach said, I don't think we really have a weakness on this defense right now. If we look at the Atlanta game, Zaire Franklin took that game over for us to be able to close that game out in the fourth quarter and overtime. So I think as long as they're tackling, they're continue to tackle, and they're not missing tackles, I think that's where it's good for us. Now, if you're talking about in the offseason, that's a little different story. Now, then I think you do try and do some things to shore it up. But I wouldn't necessarily say we go out and try and buy a linebacker. There is somebody that I do want, though. I can bring that up. But I think that luckily Ballard is really great at drafting linebackers. So that's something that I expect him to lock in with and be able to fix that position for us next year. Either throughout the draft or in free agency. Hopefully, is obviously with cap and stuff like that, I don't think we'll go out and make some huge signing. But a guy that I would love to see us get would be Drake Thomas out of Seattle. I think he's been really good, but obviously he might be looking towards a big contract, so we'll kind of see how that goes. But that's a player that I do want. And then, like Zach said, with the defensive line, I do got to disagree with you, though, Zach. I do think that we found Tommy. I think he's a player that can come in and play for some of those Buckner snaps and kind of showing that he could kind of be that guy. Now, obviously, Buckner being a top 5 defensive tackle in the league, you're not really replacing that. But right. I think as far as him pressure-wise, he's been great for us. He's gotten much better in the run game. Now, that other position that you were talking about, backing up Grover, we still need to make sure we lock in that one. We activated big Tim Smith that we drafted this past week or against Atlanta. Didn't really see too much from him. I'd have to go look it up to see.
When we do draft episodes, that's where I've poured after the Sauce trade. That's kind of where I poured my attention into. So when we go into the meat and potatoes and the run block or the run stuffers and stuff like that, I'll reveal my list of guys that I have. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I just want, and I know it's so hard. So I truly feel like, I don't really worry about backers, like you said, because Ballard is so great at finding them, like not worried about backer whatsoever.
Yeah.
But defensive line for me, just because I know how impactful a grade 3 technique is. That's why I put it as the single most important position on the Colts defense and how they want to do things. And sure, having 2 all-pro corners and arguably I would say top 2 best free safety in the league in Bynum. That only helps a young D-line, but I would much rather have guys that you can sit and groom and just hit the weight room and play sparingly until they're ready to truly, essentially use as a redshirt year and then throw them in there year 2 and say, all right, kid, show me what you got. Because JTT has been an absolute bust. He's been terrible.
Well, he's actually gotten better. I've had to make apology to Adrian, one of our Colts fans, because I was saying that he was trash, he was garbage.
I mean, he is. He's had 2 good plays all season.
No, he's been better. He's been better. He's gotten some pressures. He had the I wouldn't call it the game-winning pressure, but one of those closing pressures on Michael Penix Jr. that forced him to throw the ball away against Atlanta. So the more he's played, the better he's looked. So I can't say I'm too mad at him before because I was on his ass like flies on shit.
Right.
I kid you not. Like I was so pissed. Now obviously he still ain't Will Johnson, who the fuck I wanted.
Who was there.
But I think that I can't say he's ass anymore just because of the fact that if he can continue to get some snaps, which I said, which I also said to Adrian, I said I'm not going to give him too much credit because Tyquan Lewis is coming back this week.
Right.
So what will happen to JTT now? Is he going to go back to being inactive? Is he still going to get some playing time? But obviously, you know how me and you are when it comes to first and second round draft picks. I mean, if you ain't playing, I mean, how are we not going to call you ass? Like, so,
Right.
So yeah, I just won't say ass anymore. But if he can continue to trend up and get some snaps, I'll take a lot of my words back. But I'll take the ass off. I won't say he's ass anymore. But I definitely need to keep seeing him grow.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. To me, I feel like if you're a top 2 pick, I at least want 5, like Latu being a first round pick, and then JTT being a second round guy. I at least want 5 sacks.
Yeah, I gotta see something out of you.
And he's not showing me anything.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to sit here and say, yo, that's a wasted pick or that's a premium pick, that's an AD Mitchell type pick. Why are you picking?
That's our first round pick this coming year.
Right. Why are you taking a luxury pick instead of going out and getting a dude at a position of need? And I know they don't want to say drafting it should be all like, well, we take best player available. No, you don't. You draft based on need. And I kind of feel like we wasted a pick there with JTT.
Yeah.
What happened
I don't disagree with you.
Is he hurt? He can't pass block.
Yeah, he can't pass. He's been unplayable in pass pro.
That is why he is not playing, Teresa. What happened to Giddens? Is he hurt or is he not playing? He's not playing.
I mean, it's a little bit of both, but because not hurt, but his pass pro and then JT.
He's a liability in the passing game, and then when you have an MVP, Adrian Peterson in the backfield, are you going to let him not play third down? Yeah.
Dave Stewart said the good news is Ballard is creating final linebackers with our picks. What they are.
Question, Dave Stewart. Question to Marco. I'm not necessarily a big proponent of this, but second round, you don't go D-line. You go safety. Do you move Cross down to backer if you re-sign him? Just because
I want us to take a linebacker.
Really? Just how well he tackles?
I want us to take the kid out of Texas Tech, who everybody's saying that.
Rodriguez?
He's
a stud.
I want us to take him. I don't know if he'll make it to the second round, but it's either him or it's what's his name? Red Murdoch out of Buffalo.
Murdoch. You want Murdoch out of Buffalo? Nice.
Those are my 2 guys that I want us to draft at linebacker.
See, my thought is invest in safety, or you go D-line, you go safety. And if you go safety, you re-sign Cross. But because how well he tackles and his speed and his side to side, you basically already have a ready-made Carlisle who you can just slide in and he can play backer. So
but that make us susceptible in the run if we don't really, key up like we were just talking about with the defensive tackles. Because if you get too light in the box,
I don't know. I mean, he's 6'2", 220. That's a modern day linebacker in today's side to side NFL.
But that's what I'm saying, because eventually the game will go back to its old ways, and some teams gonna want to pound the rock on you, and you're gonna be too small.
How big is Rodriguez though?
I want to say he's 6'2", 240.
Is he? That's Ray Lewis big, so fair enough. I don't know. I don't watch Texas Tech. They're the best team the money can buy. I mean, I guess their NIL's billions upon billions. So, but yeah, what about the kid we drafted?
That's Jalen Carlisle. Carlisle is the hybrid. He went from safety to linebacker.
Right,
but he should be coming back next year. Wohler is gonna play safety, and then
is he from Wisconsin?
And then
Wohler's kid?
Yeah, Wisconsin. And then our guy out of Minnesota,
Wiley.
Wiley, Justin Wally. He'll be coming back to play some corner. He got hurt,
so I'm not really necessarily about corner. I am concerned with safety still. I don't want to pay Nick Cross. No surprise. I don't want to pay Nick Cross. I feel like we already have three of the top paid safeties. Or three of the top paid DBs. Save some money. Don't pay Nick Cross. He's replaceable. You can get a vet or no, the kid this year. They said, well, really, Woolers is playing linebacker. Well,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. They did move him over. I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, um, yeah. I
Oh,
just say
Rodriguez is 6'1", 230.
so. He's basically 10 pounds heavier than Cross. Fair enough. I mean, I just look at it like if you do re-sign a guy like Cross, why not try Backer? But at the same time, I understand. I look at it like invest those picks in the D line, and then I don't really worry about Ballard finding backers. I only worry about Carlisle staying healthy. If the dude can stay healthy and he can produce, great. If not, do what we did this year and go find a dude for cheap.
Yeah,
Because they'll
it's
be
just
out
my
there.
thing. It's just my thing with it is just like that conversation as you were talking about drafting for need and whatnot. And I think that like if you don't draft a linebacker, it's like what other pick are you taking for need? And it's like we don't have very many needs that are going to be a starter next
Right.
year. And
Right.
that's why I would personally go linebacker because you got Pratt, you got Zaire Franklin, who many Colts fans want to replace anyway.
I wanted him gone
Um,
last year. Yeah.
and then you got Carlisle, who hasn't been able to stay healthy. And then Waller's coming back from injury as well. So I think that you take a linebacker, boom, you shore up a spot, and you don't have to worry about a hole.
Right.
Other than that, there isn't any other position that I would really say you can go ahead and draft and try and take a starter, unless you didn't think that Jalen Travis was going to be ready to take over at right tackle, and you drafted the second round right tackle. So that those are the only two spots where I could say you could draft and you're a starter next year.
Hot take, but to me, I think the Colts move on from Grover Stewart. That's just my opinion. He's expensive, so
Yeah, but we still need them.
that's where I'm telling you. I think the Colts spend
I
their
mean,
first. I think the Colts spend that second round pick on a big old like run stopping D tackle. That D line, in my opinion, is a far greater need just for depth purposes than linebacker, because I really feel like there's going to be some great linebackers. There's no way in hell they're going to keep all 7 of them dudes they drafted. So like one of them dudes is going to hit free agency. And so I feel like it's easier to sign a dude to like a vet to like a 2-year deal than it is to spend that money at backer. Just my opinion.
I definitely get why you say it, because Grover and Buckner are aging and they ain't gonna be top tier forever. So I definitely get why you say it. I can't be mad at it. I mean, I get it. Until, if Tommy shows that he can continue to develop, then I could definitely see them letting him walk and possibly add another replacement. So it's not something that I'll be totally mad at. It's just I love Big Grove, man.
Me too, but I look at it like he's in the last year of his deal. He's a free agent.
I mean, I
think.
wouldn't even mind if he took a little bit of less to stay and became a rotational player.
That I truly feel that he's a free agent this year. So like that's going to be the bro, we're going to offer you a 1-year or a 2-year deal. First year's all guaranteed money. We want you to be a rotational piece. I mean,
yeah, Dave. Zach kind of hinted at that towards the end. Dave basically saying, but if we got rid of Grover, then the pick isn't depth anymore. I extend Grover, and then pick can be depth next year, and that's kind of what Zach was saying towards the end of that.
I just don't want to. You know what I mean?
He just basically don't know. He just doesn't want us to sit there and let guys keep aging while making more money.
Right.
It's kind of like your play's going to fall off. You're still.
If you're going to extend Grove, then use your second round pick you have on his backup as eventual replacement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So.
Yep. So not mad at that. Chester says Juju is out, so he definitely dodged a bullet. Yeah, there was a lot of people that were talking about him. I thought it was kind of crazy. I was like, because it was the game that he was playing versus.
So who the
I want to
hell
say
did
it
the
was. I wasn't. I wasn't. I want to say it was against Buffalo. Maybe it was somebody else, but somebody was saying that he was playing really well. And then I was like, yeah. I mean, he does play pretty good sometimes when he's on the field, but then he's hurt like 2 plays later. So, and
is he
right
still
after
making
that,
TikToks?
uh, no, he got hurt like right after a play that he made or something that happened. He got a foot injury or something,
Juju
and I
did?
think I think he might have to have surgery, but I'm not totally sure.
Oh dang. Fair enough.
Yeah, so um, uh, I think I forgot what something I was going to say, but forgot what I was saying. But those are the positions that I was thinking of. I don't know how much of a linebacker would be a whole, but like I said, I think that's something that I would want to go into and draft. But again, we got a lot of guys to pay, plans to make. The good thing is we don't have
Right.
to necessarily worry about paying a first round draft pick, so that'll kind of bring that money that we can spend down. So we'll kind of see how that goes.
Right.
Um,
We gotta keep less cap for draft and more cap for free agents and roster re-signing stuff. So in a way, it kind of balances out. I also look for a lot of Colts to kind of restructure their deals this year. Like I know Sauce is going to get paid; he's going to hit his extension, but I look for that to get redone. Maybe not next year, but the year after. Um, Teresa with "Do I trust Bagley?" Our kicker Bagley. Well, hopefully it's only a 1 year deal type situation because personally, no. Um, Schrader is the guy. Hopefully he can come back and be as good as he was before the injury. But no, Bagley is a weak link. I was kind of pissed because he missed the easy one in Germany, but he was the best supposedly out on the market, not named Justin Tucker, which the Colts won't touch him with 1,000-foot pole. So it is the holiday season, and he is the Grinch. So no way in hell the Colts would touch him. That's just my thoughts. What are your thoughts on the backup quarterback situation? Do you think the Colts do something with that going forward? Because that's going to be a hot topic, DeMarco, just because of the guy who we have back there, and it is his 5th-year option. Do you think the Colts trade him? Do you think they release him? How do you think they handle 5?
yeah, I want to jump in on that Badgley question a little bit. I think I'm fine with Badgley. I think we talked about this last week. Obviously, he missed a couple kicks and whatnot, the extra point, and then another kick that he missed, but he made the ones that matter. So that's all that matters to
Facts.
me. He won't be here next year, so that's something I'm not too worried about. Hopefully, Spencer Schrader comes back good to go, healthy, and everything like that. So I think we'll be good getting him back. Hopefully, no rust or anything holding there. So I trust him for as long as we need him to, as long as he keeps making the kicks that matter. That's all I really care about. To your question about Anthony Richardson, though, I I wish we had him right now, just because if something happened with Daniel Jones, I really don't want to go to Riley Leonard. I hate the
Facts.
people that thinks that like, oh yeah, we could just put Riley Leonard in, he'll be better than Anthony.
No,
I
no,
hate
no,
people that
no.
say that dumb shit. Like our season will be over if Daniel Jones got hurt. At least with Anthony Richardson, we know he can play good with the game on the line. He can kind of do some things in the fourth quarter. Obviously, accuracy is the issue, but we can't act like Anthony Richardson can't play at all. Like this, that's just ridiculous. So to the people that say that, it's absolute nonsense. But then to the last part of that, I do think it's over. I don't think there's no way in hell you give him a 5th-year option to give him a, what, 15-20 million
There's
deal.
21 million guaranteed.
Yeah, $21 million to be a backup.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Daniel Jones ain't going nowhere, and if Daniel Jones leaves, we're basically throwing everything down the dumps. So I think we'll trade him as soon as the season is over. I think we'll trade him whenever that is. I think we trade him for like a shit,
Like a 5th-round pick.
yeah, like a 4th or 5th round pick, maybe trade him for a player. I wouldn't mind trading him for a starting D tackle in the league.
I'd trade him to Minnesota for whatever draft capital they're willing to give us because I know KOC absolutely loves Richardson. The Vikings loved him when he was coming out.
I don't think the Vikings would just because KOC already put everything in the JJ McCarthy.
McCarthy's cheap.
Like, I trust me, I completely agree with you. I said it before he even came out. Like I
didn't think he was that bad, but dude, I don't know who's worse, AR or McCarthy. Like, damn.
Yeah, I already knew before he was going to come out. I've been saying it to people that I thought they wasted a pick and whatnot. But I just don't think – I think the fact that if they were to trade for a quarterback, it basically kills everything that he's ever said about J.J. McCarthy and how is the team supposed to trust moving forward. Because it's like, why would you trade for this guy? And I don't know how the fifth-year option would then work at that point. I think it actually would even be transferred over to them, and they would have to make a decision on his fifth-year option.
They would get to make the decision. Yeah.
It would basically go to some team that has to pay a quarterback $21 million if they wanted to keep him. So,
or he gets or they rework it so he gets like guaranteed money, and then he can just get cut. That's what I understood. It'd be like a 1 or 2 year deal, and it'd be all like guaranteed money in the first year, and then you'd cut him in the second year.
So yeah, I'd be cool with him. I would want him to be the backup to close out this season, however that may go. And then as soon as the season is over, I do believe we trade him.
That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. I keep reading a lot of stuff online asking about AR on IR. I think he's on IR until next week. He can officially come off next week.
No, he could have came back this week, but I think we're still being cautious because it was the orbital bone fracture.
Yeah, he had like full facial reconstructive surgery from what I.
Yeah, so not too many people getting eye surgeries in the middle of a season. So, yeah, I think they're just being cautious with it. He could have came back this week.
See, I didn't know that. I thought it was next week. Because like. By next week, I'm pretty sure the Colts are completely healthy. The one thing I saw on the injury report is, do we know why Carlisle isn't playing? Did he have a setback, or is it more so just a rest kind of situation? Because he practiced all week from what I read and saw. Like he was a full participant Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then they're all like, "Homie, you're not playing," and I was all like, "That's kind of dumb." So.
Yeah, I think it was because of the ankle and wanting to slow play it. I think it was kind of just like Jalen Jones, where he practiced for a full week and then they sat him out that first game back. Versus I think it was Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then we ended up sitting them. So I think it was kind of the same scenario where they wanted to see what you look like, take one more week off. We'll let you get fully healthy. It's not like we absolutely need you right this minute. So just go ahead and get as healthy as you possibly can.
That's fair.
Trust says we have Riley Leonard, but I don't think we can get a piece of pizza out of Richardson. We need to back up QB. I already said it. I just don't think Riley Leonard's going to be an answer. Like I think
long term, Leonard will be a nice backup. In like 4 years, eventually, like by the end of his rookie contract, I think he'll be a solid backup option. I don't believe he's any type of he's a practice squad player. He's Chad Kelly. Yeah. Like that's where I'm at with it. I like that the Colts drafted him based on his skill set, same skill set as Daniel Jones. Decent mid-range passing game, incredible athlete running. Same thing with Daniel Jones. And then, so the same scheme fit, but for a short-term backup, he's not the answer. Do I think next year? I want the Colts to be concerned with who the hell is going to be their starter for next year. So Daniel Jones needs to get locked up. That's where my focus is. Once Daniel Jones is locked up, then go out and get Minshew, then go out and bring my boy back. Don't get Minshew. Go bring Carson Wentz back. I don't care. Go get dude in Arizona. I don't care. Bring Kyler Murray in as a backup. I don't care at this point. Just backup QB is the least of my concern right now. I just like talking, again, guys, I do it for the chaos. I enjoy the chaos of creating chaos on the show because I try to get the reactions out of y'all more so
I'm
just for me than y'all.
Yeah, Timothy. I think he'll. I think he should just finish out the season with us, and then it'll go on the way it goes from there. I'm totally fine with Riley Leonard being our long term backup for the next few years. I think that's the thing I hate when people want to get rid of guys on rookie contracts. Personally, I think if they're healthy and they can play, then that's cool. You keep them as a rookie. Now, if you got guys like Jelani Woods, Juju Brents, Anthony Richardson, it's
Is he
kind of
still
like
on the team?
who?
Jelani Woods?
No, he's in New York.
What?
So yeah. So I'm totally fine with keeping a guy because you're basically just giving them a rookie salary until they got to go. So I think that you just keep Riley Leonard. You got him for 3 years. You let him continue to develop behind Daniel Jones. You only would need him if it ever comes worst case scenario. And then after that, kind of just draft another guy or whatever it kind of goes. I still think it's a 2-year plan to find the replacement for Daniel Jones anyway.
I agree.
So I just think that you keep Riley Leonard and you go from there after next year and the year after that. So I'm like Zach said, I'm not totally worried about backups. I just think for this year, we don't want to have a rookie Riley Leonard come in and have to play for a game.
He won't.
Or two, whatever.
We'll start Tyler Warren at quarterback, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Please do that. So, yeah. Justice says, no more dumpster diving for these washed up old ass QBs. And exactly. And that's why I say, a lot of people, there's been way too many people, in my opinion, I'd be saying, get rid of Anthony Richardson. Why is he even still here? Bro, it is hard to find you a guy that can come in and be able to relieve a starter. So, that's why I'm just like, hey, you can sit here and say about him whatever you want, but he can give you just enough to maybe win a game or two. So that's why I'm just like, just keep him for this year. And then after that, Riley can go ahead and be the backup guy and go from there.
Or one better. Or the Colts can do one better and trade for Shedeur Sanders because he's going to flop out in Cleveland because they're going to sabotage that dude. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's rough. It's rough over there. But I don't know. I don't think you trade for anybody. You just keep your draft picks that you got because now we're at that point where we become one of these teams that are really going to rely upon draft picks. I don't know how much more money we will spend and go after getting guys. So I think that you make sure that you keep the draft capital that you do need. Like I said, we got this year and next year kind of be our 2 years without a first round draft pick. That third year, that'll be that would be the second year of Daniel Jones's new contract that we give him. You draft a guy to be ready to replace him.
2028 quarterback class.
Yep. So you draft a guy at that point that would then be ready to replace Daniel Jones, or you can put him on the Green Bay Packers QB plan where they got 2 or 3 years to sit behind a starter, and then you go from there. So
go get Sellers. Lenore Sellers in 2028. Lenore Sellers in 2028, my guy.
That is just Anthony Richardson who stayed at college longer.
That's fair. That's fair. I just like his athleticism. That's all.
Yeah, that's just Anthony Richardson.
He's gonna go to Miami and learn how to be a quarterback after they get rid of Carson back.
Yeah. So
go get your boy DJ Lagway from Florida. If he don't transfer.
He stinks.
I'm gonna have to look at the 2028 quarterback class and see if there's anybody worth some beans.
And DJ just got hurt.
Damn.
I think he got hurt. Yeah,
Mateer's out there. Hey.
And Mateer's nice, but he got that broken hand and he ain't looked the same. So
true. He's Baker Mayfield 2.0.
Oh no, wait, no, he didn't get hurt. I thought that was Trammell that was in. Yeah, man. Let's go ahead and get into these final predictions, man. KC, Indy.
Oh, you want mine? I got Indy 42, Kansas City 17.
Holy shit. Boy predicted a blow. I can't even be mad at you though. I also picked the Colts. I picked us to win this game to start the season as well. So I was never really too worried about us versus KC. But I got the Colts 32-17.
See, I'm only 10 points different. I have two pick sixes. All right. I got one for Mooney and one for Sauce. So,
Two pick
like,
sixes would
two
be
pick sixes.
crazy.
One for Mooney and one for Sauce. Like,
that would be crazy.
That's going to be a regular thing as long as I'm on the show. Y'all, I want pick sixes. So, one for Mooney, one for Sauce. You know, that from here on out, Sauce and Mooney, pick sixes. Indy by 4. 7 points. That's probably right, Timothy. Like you're typically right. And I'm a Colts homer. Like the only time I picked the Colts to lose this year was versus Pittsburgh. But we're getting back to the second half of the schedule, and that's where I have most of the Colts losses coming, the second half of the schedule.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm a Colts homer. I picked us to go 11-6 before the season started. Like I said, I just think that the way our defense should be able to play, the way our offense should be able to play versus what they're capable of doing, I think this should be another game that we should be able to dominate. I really, truly do. Chester says 34-24 for the boss.
For the boss.
All
the
right.
boss.
You had anything else
for
to get out of here?
The boss?
Nah, her dad.
For Jimmer. Nah, I got nothing, bro.
We in that upper quartile of the upper quartile. You heard?
The upper quartile of the upper quartile. Like,
yeah.
So, like, what is that? Is that like?
You don't remember when Jim said that?
No.
So bro. There's the top tiers of winning teams in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. He pulled that stat out after he fired freaking Reich or whatever it was. And I was all like, get out of here, dog.
Like, here's the good teams in the NFL.
All right.
Here's the teams that have been winning for forever. We are in that upper quartile of that upper quartile. We're in that top tier.
Yeah, it was like us, New England, and like Denver. Like, 33% of 33% of 33%.
Yep.
Patience or panic?
No, I didn't have any panic or patience this week because we were on a bye week. I
panicked because the Colts didn't win the bye week 83-0. They only won it 79-6.
Actually, technically we did. You know, Sauce getting another week with the team.
Right.
We get a bit more healthier. We add some guys to the fold. So that's why I didn't have no panic or patience.
You feel like if we lose, it could be. See, my thought is, Timothy, I don't really care if the Colts lose. As long as we win the division games, that's the only damn thing I'm concerned with. We win the division, we're in the playoffs. I don't give a rat's butt about the overall if the Colts are the 1 seed, 2 seed, because I believe this team is good enough to go on the road and kick anybody's ass. Like that's just my opinion. Just beat beat Houston twice, Jacksonville twice, sweep the division, go home. Like that. That's where I'm at. Won't happen, but
I just want to win every game. I personally don't care, and I think that as long as we play our game, I don't think anybody can beat us. And no, Triz, I'm not panicking for the kicker. I think we'll be fine.
Facts. I think more often than not, we'll be fine.
Yeah, no panic. We shall see. We'll pick up some new stuff after tomorrow. We'll see how the game goes, and definitely will likely have some panic or patience after tomorrow, unless it's absolutely our way the whole time. But we shall see.
If y'all have questions that you want us to use for panic or patience, I don't typically do this. So, like, don't send me creepy messages. Please, let's keep it Colts related. But you can find me on Facebook at Zach Davis and go ahead and DM me them. And I'll just forward these messages to DeMarco and we can put them on the show. If not, don't worry about it. I don't really care. It doesn't hurt my feelings one way or another. Happy Thanksgiving and go Colts.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Also, forgot to tell you guys again, shout out to the guys over at ZTV and shout out to Joey. Every Monday, they play a 24-hour loop, and we'll have all the shows that you guys missed, including your favorite one here, Kicking with the Crew. That'll come on every Monday if you missed the show. So please go check that out at ctv.com, or you can go check their Facebook website. So please go check that out. Happy Thanksgiving to all. And as always, go Colts.
Deuces.
Second down, he fakes the Taylor, fires over the middle, completes. Pittman